Welcome back to Carneades.org. Today we're going to be continuing with our series, Dumbfounding Definitions, Dizzying Distinctions, and Diabolical Doctrines, a series sorting through some of the jargon of philosophy. In this video, we are going to be looking at the difference between abstract objects and concrete objects. Now, in metaphysics, philosophers often claim that all objects are divided into two categories: abstract objects and concrete objects, though many philosophers may say that only concrete objects exist. They also generally agree as to which objects fall into each category, if they're the kind of philosophers that claim that both categories do exist. However, they do disagree as to exactly what makes specific objects concrete and others abstract, and may disagree on some borderline cases, and whether or not, of course, that abstract objects even exist. All right? In this video, we're going to look at the difference between abstract and concrete objects, some of the different definitions, and some of the positions which deny that abstract objects exist. So let's take a look. Because the examples are a little bit less controversial than the definitions, we're going to start there, because if you don't understand what abstract and concrete objects are, the examples probably will be more explanatory than any of the various definitions. So we have abstract objects and concrete objects. An abstract object might be something like the game of golf. Not even a particular game of golf, but golf in general, as an abstract object. Whereas a concrete object might be a singular golf ball. An abstract object might be the English language, while a concrete object would be a physical dictionary. Hopefully you're getting a little bit of the sense of what we're doing here. The game of golf, the English language, those are abstract, while a golf ball or a dictionary are concrete. The proposition expressed by "the cat is on the mat." Remember that propositions are different than the content of the sentences in a particular language. The proposition is what is expressed by a sentence, while the physical sentence printed in a book, "the cat is on the mat," would be concrete. Watch my video on truth bearers for more on exactly what propositions are. The class of all objects with four toes. If we don't claim that classes are just identical to all of their members, then a class is a separate abstract object. And so if we consider a class as a separate object, we're probably going to consider it as an abstract object. While each and every member of that class, those physical objects that exist in that class, that all have four toes, each of those are going to be concrete objects. And finally, Sartre's Les Mouches, which is a play written by Jean-Paul Sartre. The play itself, not a physical copy of the play, not someone reading the play, but the play itself is an abstract object, while my copy of Sartre's Les Mouches would be a concrete object. Hopefully that gives you a bit of a sense of the distinction between abstract and concrete objects. So abstract objects might therefore be defined as objects which are not present in time or space. They might also be defined as objects which do not interact causally with the world. And they might even be defined as being neither mental nor able to be sensed. These are all different ways that people define abstract objects. But hopefully most of those definitions are going to map well onto each other, and most of what we get out of those different definitions is going to be similar. Each of these views, of course, has its proponents and its detractors. And as with many definitions in philosophy, when engaging in debate on other subjects that are outside of the specific debate on exactly how we should define abstract objects, it's more important to simply explain what you mean when you say abstract objects. For example, if you're writing a paper on some other topic in metaphysics and you're using the term abstract objects, being clear which definition you're using can be really important. It's more important to do that than to engage in kind of a semantic debate about the true meaning of the word, or in a paper to just assume that everyone is a fan of your definition of the word and not one of the other definitions out there. Because generally, the denotations will overlap, but it's best to be clear on how you're defining it. Now, concrete objects are just going to be the other side of that coin. Most philosophers claim that abstract and concrete are jointly exhaustive of all the possibilities of what an object can be, though not all of them do. An object is not abstract, then it's going to be concrete, and if an object is not concrete, it's probably going to be abstract. Some philosophers, such as nominalists about abstract objects, will claim that the only objects which exist are concrete objects. If you want more on this position, check out my video on nominalism, which goes into both nominalism about abstract objects and nominalism about universals. What do you think? How do you define abstract objects? Do abstract objects even exist? Write your answers in the comments below. Watch this video and more here at Carneades.org, and stay skeptical, everybody.